Hey there, what's up, guys? Hey, one more quick thing to talk about with you today, and we're going to take a quick look here at one of these old and fun baseball guides. I'll see if I can make this big enough so that you can actually see it when we open it up here. So I'm looking at the 1909 baseball guide. I probably should have read through this before my replay. That's the best practice to do before you start any replay. Read through it and know what you're talking about, but you know how I am. I don't know anything about what I'm saying. So we'll take a quick look at this, and I'll show you what I've discovered. This is it right here, the Symposium upon the Spitball. Now, was this really a symposium? I'm not quite sure, but there were a whole bunch of different responses about, there was a lot of requests for information that they requested of people in baseball about what they thought about the Spitball, whether it should be banned or not. And the interesting thing about this is that many of these people were saying the Spitball is not a sanitary pitch, right? So the game would not suffer the least were the Spitball done away with right here, right? This person with the Evening Mail says the Spitball is a great help to certain pitchers, those who can control it, right? And so we should have the Spitball if they can control it. But others say, the Spitball is not really necessary. It's the idea that the saliva adheres to the ball is foolish, as even the slightest felt tip would suffice to cleanse the ball. That's interesting. Give that a try. Here's a little bit more about this. The Spitball would not hurt the game at all if it were eliminated. I don't think that the playing rules would be hurt much at all if it were eliminated again. The Spitball is the direct cause of so many long drawn-out baseball contests, most especially notably in the American League, because there's more Spitball pitchers in that organization, right? I mean, this is back when the average length of game was like an hour and 30 minutes or something, maybe. So that's pretty funny. It would be impossible to formulate a rule that would do away with it. Have you ever read that one? That's pretty interesting. The Spitball is not a necessity in the national game, not a necessity again in the national game. It's not essential to baseball, but it adds uncertainty to the sport. That I like. That's kind of a sophisticated view. Not essential to the progress of baseball. Should be abolished by rule makers. Not a necessity. And so on and so forth. We could go on and on talking about this, but the reason why I want to bring this up, and you can see this does go on, and I'm going to make a little blog post about this because this is pretty funny. I love this at the end from the Evening Mail. If the pitcher wins with it, it has no objectionable feature. If the pitcher loses, it has nothing else. So there you go. It's nothing but objectionable. And that's kind of the way that it is. Now, one of the reasons why I want to bring this up really quickly, and this will be a quick video, is because, we talk about things that seem to be huge issues in the game today that seem to be awful and seem to be breaking the game and all this stuff, banning the use of the shift or the overuse of the shift, different types of pitches and, the pitch clock and all this other stuff. But the truth is that when you look at this back from a longer historical perspective, you can see that a lot of the infighting we have from a day-to-day point of view is kind of silly, right? I mean, of course, it's possible to legislate against the Spitball because we did it, right? And it didn't destroy the game. There have always been pitchers who've used it sort of illegally, but that's kind of like, I don't know, being the kid on the block with the illegal fireworks, right? Or being part of, the scene that's trading, video copies of old baseball games or audio copies. Not that I would know anything about that, right? When it's not necessarily legal, there's not really a legal path to do something like that, right? I mean, you're kind of like part of the people who are in the crowd, who are in the know, who know exactly what's happening, right? That's kind of what this is like, right? It doesn't destroy the game. In fact, I would say that the illegality of it probably adds a little bit of intrigue and mischief and that sort of feeling to the game. Like, oh man, look at all this interesting stuff that we can do and really get into. So that's personally the way that I feel about it, right? I think it's probably okay that the Spitball was made illegal at that time. Certainly nobody died because, or shouldn't say that, I guess, but the pitch that hit Ray Chapman was illegal, right? But, it's not the case that, making this pitch illegal destroyed the sport or did anything awful to it. Anyway, it's just an example of the cool stuff you can find if you actually take the time to sit down and read some of these old books and look at what people talked about. It will surprise you, especially if you are sort of a sabermetrician and you feel like everything that happened before in the game is done by a bunch of nincompoops who don't know what they were talking about. You should take some time to go back and take a look. You'll be surprised. A lot of these guys knew what they were talking about and might have had some insight that you might have not have thought about, right? So that's personally how I come about this. I know you know that's going to come from me because of the sort of videos I make and the sort of stuff I talk about, but that's sort of the way it is. Anyway, I hope that you're doing well, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.